Hare Krishna. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai. Nitai Chaitanya ki jai. Parshuram Bhagwan ki jai. Vaman Dev ki jai. Giri Govardhan ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are doing the chapter number 617, the divisions of faith. In that we are doing the verse number 8, which talks about the divisions of food. Ayush sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasyaha snigdaha sthira hridya aharaha satvika priyaha. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. So this is one of the verses where Lord Shri Krishna is talking about what is the kind of food that we are supposed to be eating, okay? And what is the food that we are not supposed to be eating and why? I mean, the reason why also has been explained in this in these verses. So the first thing, if we just see the previous verse, let me show you the previous verse, then we will understand a little bit more about this. So in the previous verse, Krishna said that even the food that each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. And it's the same for sacrifices, austerities, and charities. So it's a division based on the concept of three gunas. What are the three gunas? Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Sattva guna means mode of goodness. Rajoguna means mode of passion. Tamoguna means mode of ignorance. These three gunas, or the three modes of material nature, have been explained in detail in the chapter number 14, in the three modes of material nature. So we saw that there. The detailed explanation has been given in the chapter number 14. So now, what Krishna is saying is that even the food can be divided into three based on the modes of material nature. Because based on the modes of material nature, we have a preference for the food. And the same is for the yajna, that is sacrifice. The same is for the tapas, that is for the austerity. The same is for dhanam. Dana means the charity. Now coming to this verse, Krishna is talking about food now. So in the whole chapter, Krishna is going to talk about first about food, next about sacrifices, next about austerities, next about charity. And he is going to conclude what is the actual purpose of eating food, or what is the purpose of performing sacrifices, what is the purpose of doing this tapasya, and what is the actual purpose of doing the charity, and in what mood should we perform, and which one is preferable, and what we should not be doing. So he's going to classify into three classes, okay? Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. And it is implicit that the Sattva guna is good because Sattva guna gives us liberation. It takes us towards liberation. And the other two modes, that takes us towards bondage. And based on the type of food that we take, we can also kind of analyze what is the mode of material nature that we are in. Okay. So now coming back to this verse, Krishna says, Satvika Priyaha. Satvika Priyaha. That means those people who are in the mode of goodness, they prefer these foods. So that is how do we know that we are in the mode of goodness or passion or ignorance? At least we can find out if we are in the mode of goodness by just looking at the checklist that's given here. If we like these kind of foods, then we are in the mode of goodness. If we don't like, then we are either in the mode of passion or in ignorance. So what are these foods and why are these foods important? Let's see that. First characteristic that's given here is ayuhu. Ayuhu means the foods that increase the duration of life. So you see, in the traditional Vedic classification and in the classification of Ayurveda, there are some foods that increase our life and there are some foods that decrease our life. Okay, I'll tell you something very interesting. This is also given in the commentary by Madhvacharya on Bhagavad Gita. Specifically, it's mentioned, it's a part of Ayurveda that, generally it is not recommended that we should eat curd in the night. So did you know that? Maybe some of you already know it. So it's not a good idea to eat curd in the night because it's said in various scriptures that if we eat curd in the night, then our duration of life will decrease. So that means it's the opposite. Ayu means our Ayu will reduce if we eat very hard to digest food in the night, for example, like curd or like chole. These kind of foods, if we eat in the night, it reduces our duration of life. So this is the opposite of Ayu. Ayu means the foods which are recommended. That's why it's called Ayurveda. Ayurveda means it is a science which teaches you how to live long. If you follow the principles, you will live really long. I mean, like, at least you will live until the lifespan, total lifespan, that is 100 years for a human being. Okay. So Ayu means eating foods which increase the duration of life, not those foods which decrease the duration of life. And Sattva means which purifies one's existence. And Bala Arogya, which gives strength. Bala means strength. The food which gives us strength. We should eat those foods. It's a kind of obvious. It sounds obvious, but a lot of times we don't stick to the traditional wisdom and we go by what we like to eat, or maybe what our senses demand, we try to eat. But that kind of foods are not in the mode of goodness and they're not good for us in the overall picture. Okay. So Bala means strength. Arogya means health, means that food which gives us good health, that should be eaten. And Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha, that means which gives us happiness and satisfaction. So, for example, we hear this a lot of times, right? There is no food which is equal to mother's food. We hear that. I mean, we see, when children, they go out for studying, they go to hostel and then they eat hostel food. And then when they come back and they eat home food, they feel very happy. So why are they liking the home food, mother cooked food? That's because it is Priti, Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha. That means it gives happiness and satisfaction. It also might have happened that, you may take food from even a 5-star hotel and maybe the cost of the meal is 5,000 rupees per plate or 10,000 rupees per plate, but it is not as good as a simple meal that you have every single day at your home. So this is what is Sukha Priti Vivardhana. Means after eating the food, you must feel satisfaction. You must feel happiness. You must feel, better. You must feel better, right? You must be healthier. You must not be unhealthy. So junk foods and the foods which reduce our health, which do not give us satisfaction, we should avoid. And then he said here, Rasyaha. Rasyaha means juicy. So foods which are juicy and foods which are not juicy. Let's think about it. So the foods which are cooked fresh, they are juicy. For example, fruits. If you take the fruit, it is juicy, but if you leave it like that for a long time, all the juice is gone, right? It becomes dry and it becomes devoid of juice, correct? Similarly, vegetables also, if you buy vegetables fresh and cook food out of it, the food is tasty. But sometimes what happens, we leave the vegetable for a long time and the vegetable becomes dry. I'm sure most of us may be having this experience. The vegetable becomes dry and you feel, oh, why should I throw it? It's not spoiled, but it has become dry. Okay. But when you cook food out of it, it doesn't taste good as well because it's not rasyaha, because the juice which was supposed to be there in that vegetable is now gone. You see, that's called rasyaha. So the juice which is there within must be present. Okay, rasyaha. And snigdhaha. Snigdha means fatty. Snigdha in Ayurveda, it means that oily food. As far as the Ayurvedic analysis is concerned, it is said that oily food is easily digested when compared to the dry food. So it may be slightly contradicting to our current thought process that oily food should be strictly avoided and we should only have dry food. But it is said in the Ayurveda that food must be cooked always. I mean, it is not preferable to have it uncooked in the Ayurveda, unless it is a kind of a fruit or a vegetable which is very easy to be digested. It can be something like a carrot or cucumber, no need of cooking. But even if it is something like, germinated seeds, so that's very difficult to digest. So I've heard, my Ayurvedic doctor saying me that, you should cook it. Even though you're eating that germinated seeds, you should cook it in ghee. So cooking in ghee, every vegetable is recommended. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should eat a lot of fried stuff and like a lot of French fries, etc. That's not the meaning. But the point is, it should not be completely dry without any fat or without any oil. So basically, snigdha here means ghee. Because Ayurvedic analysis, it says ghee is the best food. So ghee is suitable for everybody, including the elderly people and the child and everybody. That too, cow ghee is the best. So every food is preferably cooked in cow ghee. Of course, in a moderate quantity, snigdha, then the food becomes easy to digest. And hridya. Hridya means which is pleasing to the heart. And sthira means wholesome. So after eating the food, you should feel very pleasing to the heart. So a lot of this is also in our experience, I'm sure, that sometimes there are some people who are very good at cooking and some people are not. And when we eat the food who are good cooks, and when we make a good dish, when good recipe and good food, you feel satisfaction in the heart. You feel that I had something very nice. I mean, you feel very happy in your heart and satisfied in your heart. Hrudyaha, pleasing to the heart. So this is the kind of food that we are supposed to eat. On the opposite contrary is that food which is agitating. Means that by the end of that, you're feeling burning sensation in the stomach, or maybe you're feeling very dehydrated, or you're feeling that you have eaten a lot of salt, or maybe you're feeling agitated, or maybe you're feeling like eating more, or maybe you're feeling that you have eaten less or more, something like that. Anything out of this balance, okay, that's not the food in the mode of goodness. So mode of goodness food is simple vegetarian diet made up of grains and milk products, okay, and that too consumed in a proper portion, not out of portion, lot of food. Okay, so that's about it. Today's words, we saw Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 17, verse number 8, where Lord Shri Krishna is speaking about the foods which are in the mode of goodness. Okay. Any questions we can take up, or we can just go to the next part of the program. Hare Krishna.